Today we have info on a dog that looks like a fuzzy T-Rex, a dog discovering an abandoned baby, a storm named after my co-anchor Ian, National Good Neighbor Day, and so much more.
We have today's weather forecast with Lily Fowler and a sports update with Sari Hughes.
Today is Wednesday, September 28, 2022.
We are live from Studio H12 in the Shroyer Broadcasting Center at Bradley Central High School, and you're watching Vox News Today.
Welcome back, I'm Amber Folia.
And I'm Ian Reardon, and these are your top stories for today.
The Justice Department is calling on a federal judge to make psychological tests mandatory for some migrant families separated at the southern border. This move comes less than a year after the Biden White House backed off settlement talks on the issue. In 2018, the U.S. put a so-called zero-tolerance policy where criminal prosecutions were in effect on every adult who entered the U.S. illegally. This caused thousands of families to be split up.
The White House welcomed representatives from more than a dozen countries in the Western Hemisphere Monday to talk about mass migration. The meeting was a follow-up to the Summit of the Americas held in June. At that time, 21 nations signed onto the Los Angeles Declaration Agreement, which asked governments to expand temporary worker programs, reinforce legal pathways, support countries hosting large migrant populations, and crack down on human smuggling networks.
Social media is full of videos and photos that will leave you amazed, and photos that go viral are often recirculated by users to allow people to have a hearty laugh. One such hilarious photo shows a dog looking like Wig on legs. The schnauzer was innocently playing in the park when its owner decided to take a panoramic shot, but the final image surprised her. The photo taken 4 years ago has reappeared on Reddit and is again gaining traction.
Janus the tortoise has 2 heads and it's his 25th birthday. Janus, who also has 2 hearts, 2 pairs of lungs, and 2 distinct personalities, would not have survived long in the wild as he can't retract his heads into his shell to seek shelter from predators. But at the Geneva Natural History Museum, where he hatched in 1997, Bourgeois and her team of carers, who believe he is the world's oldest bicephalic tortoise, can cater for his every need. They feed him organic salad and give him daily massages and baths in green tea and chamomile. For exercise, he goes for regular walks, sometimes with music, and rides on a custom-made skateboard.
Much of Hawaii's economy is based on tourism, especially in Maui, which is known for its miles of pristine coastline. But recent signs show just how alarmingly fast that famous beaches are eroding away. The beautiful beaches of Maui and Hawaii draw millions of visitors from around the world every year. San Jose resident Steve Sordello and his wife have been there all week, but instead of seeing this at their hotel in Lahaina, this is what Kanapali Beach looks like. Maui native Tyre Lawrence captured this drone video showing toppled palm trees as the waves nearly crash onto the Kanapali Alley Hotel. The walkway connecting the resorts on West Maui impassable.
It's been months since Randy Cox was partially paralyzed. It happened in June after he was arrested for allegedly having an illegal handgun in New Haven, Connecticut. He was riding in the back of a police van when the driver had to slam on the brakes, sending Cox sliding down the van bench, slamming headfirst into the back. Now, a $100 million federal civil suit has been filed on his behalf, with civil rights attorney Ben Crump taking the lead on the case. Crump says Cox has faced severe medical complications recently, explaining that's why they're asking for $100 million.
The purple M&M is here, but not the way you might think. The purple peanut M&M is a new Spokes Candies character, the first new one in 10 years. She sings and she has a specific personality. Quirky, confident, and just a little awkward. Her debut comes with a song, quote, "I'm Just Gonna Be Me," which can be seen in a video online and streamed in various platforms. This doesn't mean a purple M&M is coming to bags of peanut M&Ms. The new character will appear in stores and on the M&M's website and on some limited edition packaging. Customers can buy purple M&Ms online, an option that was already available. But when it comes to a regular bag of peanut M&Ms, purple fans are out of luck.
The Justice Department is calling on a federal judge to make psychological tests mandatory for some migrant families separated at the southern border. His move comes less than a year after the Biden White House backed off settlement talks on the issue in 2018. The U.S. put a so-called zero-tolerance policy where criminal prosecutions were in effect on every adult who entered the U.S. illegally. This caused thousands of families to be split up. The Physicians for Human Rights says this process is torture, while the American Academy of Pediatrics says breaking up families can be compared to child abuse. Some families have already filed lawsuits seeking damages for the pain they say they suffered from being taken away from their loved ones.
And now let's check on our weather. Lily, what can you tell us?
It's getting colder out with temperatures as low as 40, so stay tuned for the forecast right after this break.
That sounds awful. Seriously, awful. But a lot better than last week.
We weren't born to follow.
I am Cleveland Ford. I am Cleveland.
I am Cleveland Ford.
I am Cleveland.
I am Doug Vierthaler, General Manager of Cleveland Ford. And together,
we are Cleveland Ford.
Welcome back. I'm Lily Fowler with your weather, and here's your weather at a glance for today. It is currently 40 degrees with a high of 70 and a low of 47 with precipitation of 2%. The humidity will be at 100% with a dew point of 40 degrees and a pressure of 30 inches. Visibility will be 10 miles with a UV index of 10. Ian caused a nationwide blackout after rolling through Cuba yesterday, and thousands of utility workers are standing by across Florida to help deal with potential power outages. Rains from the outer bands of the hurricane are already whipping southern Florida, and at least 2 possible tornadoes caused damage Tuesday night. Millions of Floridans are under evacuation orders as Hurricane Ian marches towards the Sunshine State's west coast. The hurricane's path shifted slightly south Tuesday, and it's expected to hit the state as a Category 4 or 5 storm. Now let's take a look at our national radar. You can see Hurricane Ian in Florida and some rain in the upper west. And here's your local radar. It'll be clear skies all around. And now let's take a look at our 7-day forecast. On Wednesday, it'll be sunny with a high of 70 and a low of 47. On Thursday, it'll be sunny with a high of 73 and a low of 47. On Friday, it'll be partly cloudy with a high of 73 and a low of 54. On Saturday, it'll be rainy with a high of 65 and a low of 54. On Sunday, it'll be cloudy with a high of 66 and a low of 52. On Monday, it'll be mostly cloudy with a high of 70 and a low of 50. And on Tuesday, it'll be partly cloudy with a high of 70 and a low of 48. That is all I have for your weather. Here's Sawyer with your sports report.
We have some college football plays. The Broncos win Slugfest on Sunday Night Football, and more about it this break.
You can be the greatest, you can be the best, you can be the king come banging on your chest. You can beat the world, you can beat the war. You could talk to God, go banging on his door. You can throw your hands up, you can beat the clock. You can move a mountain, you can break rocks. You can be a master, don't wait for luck. Dedicate yourself and you can find yourself. Stand in the Hall of Fame, and the world's gonna know your name.
I am Cleveland Ford.
I am Cleveland.
I am Cleveland Ford.
I am Cleveland.
I am Doug Vierthaler, General Manager of Cleveland Ford. And together,
We are Cleveland Ford.
At Whirlpool, we don't know how leaving the house less can make you need to eat more, or why the inside of the fridge is just so interesting. But we do know how to make appliances you can trust, day after day, after day, after day.
I was told the place I was looking for didn't exist.
A place that could refine my raw talents into something greater.
Where I could ask big questions about my faith, not settling for easy answers.
And I could risk what's comfortable in pursuit of my dream.
To join with others, find my voice, and change the world.
I was told that place didn't exist.
Then I found Lee.
At McDonald's, we're making changes every day to serve you better. It's what we're made of. And serving you better means fresh beef quarter-pounder burgers. Your burger, his burger, her burger. All cooked fresh, right when you order. Made from pure North American beef and just a pinch of salt and pepper. Because we think there's nothing better than a fresh beef quarter-pounder burger made for you, right when you order. And that's just one way we're showing you what we're made of.
Well,
You're wrong.
I'm wrong. You're the one who misrepresented the facts.
Misrepresent the facts? Are you kidding?
Your proposal's ludicrous.
My proposal will go exactly the way I say it will.
My dead body.
I think somebody needs a timeout.
Oh, that's the power of one.
Civility. Pass it on.
One grain of sand can turn the tide.
Welcome back. I'm Sorry Hughes with your sports. The Buffalo Bills nearly pulled off a last-minute comeback, but Josh Allen and the Bills offense ran out of time as the clock expired after an Isaiah McKenzie catch across midfield. The Bills were trying to get in position for a game-winning field goal, but McKenzie was tackled inbounds at the Dolphins' 41-yard line and time ran out before Allen could spike the ball. Early on, the Bills took a 7-0 lead, then a 14-7 lead, but Miami came back and took the lead in the fourth quarter on a Chase Edmonds touchdown run to make it a 21-17 Dolphins. Tampa Bay quarterback Tom Brady drove the Buccaneers 89 yards in the final 3 minutes for a touchdown with 14 seconds left to get within 2 points, but his two-point conversion passed, which came from the 7-yard line after a delay of game penalty intended for W.R. Russell Gage was deflected by L.B. Devondre Campbell and fell incomplete. Green Bay scored on its first 2 possessions of the game as quarterback Aaron Rodgers threw touchdown passes to Romeo Downs and Lazard to take a 14-3 lead, but the Packers never scored again. Denver's quarterback Russell Wilson had an odd appreciation for a game where he put up a terrible stats on primetime. After scoring 0 touchdowns, only gaining 126 yards, passing and having 9 3-and-out drives, he still had this optimistic statement to say, quote, "We're still learning each other as a whole new system. There's so much greatness in store, and I can't wait for it," end quote. The Broncos are 2-1 atop the topsy-turvy AFC West after Denver halfback Melvin Gordon atoned for 2 fumbles with a late 1-yard touchdown run, and Denver's safety Curran Jackson recovered 49ers halfback Jeff Wilson Jr.'s fumble with 1 minute and 5 seconds left to preserve the 11-10 hard-fought win over the San Francisco 49ers. CeeDee Lamb was angry with himself in the second quarter after dropping a wide-open pass and costing the Dallas Cowboys a possible touchdown. It was just embarrassing. The star receiver more than made up for it with the game on the line, making a one-handed touchdown catch with 8 minutes and 30 seconds to play to cap a go-ahead drive that gave the Cowboys a 23-16 win over the New York Giants on Monday night. Quote, "He CeeDee's Lamb," end quote, Dallas quarterback Cooper Rush after hitting Lamb 4 times on the 89-yard drive. Guy's open a lot, makes big-time catches. That fade catch was unbelievable. I'm sure he wants the other one back, but he's made tons of plays for us like usual. That is all I have for sports. Stay tuned for more news right after this break.
CRCC to me is a calling that God placed on my life to really step out in faith on something that I didn't think I could do, and it's been amazing to see how God's worked through it.
CRCC stands for Crossroads Community Church, but we're a church that our vision is to be a life-giving church in our community. We do that through helping people know God, find freedom, discover their purpose, and then go make a difference. And so that's what we're doing every week, is helping people discover their jam and go make a difference.
I am Cleveland Ford.
I am Cleveland.
I am Cleveland Ford.
I am Cleveland.
I am Cleveland Ford. I am Doug Vierthaler, General Manager of Cleveland Ford. And together,
we are Cleveland Ford.
Thank you.
Kindness. Pass it on. A message from the Foundation for a Better Life.
I am Cleveland Ford.
I am Cleveland.
I am Cleveland Ford.
I am Cleveland.
I am Doug Vierthaler, General Manager of Cleveland Ford. And together,
we are Cleveland Ford.
Hey guys, this is Austin with Let's Bounce Rental. We're here to provide a quality inflatable for a great price. We have over 17 that's available, and we are easy to book and hassle-free, so you will never go wrong with getting a party done by Let's Bounce Rental. We are always here to drive a great service.
Our crew is dedicated to make sure your equipment arrives on time, set up properly, and without any hassle. Our job is to make sure you have access to the best inflatables so you can have the most fun possible at any event. Whether it's a school event, church gathering, or birthday party, we have the equipment for you. The best part is that we are a locally owned company. We pride ourselves on making sure our customers are taken care of. So the next event you have, plan for success with Let's Bounce Rental. Call us today at 423-435-4311 or reach us by email or website. Thank you.
Welcome back. After a week of scorching heat in Middle Tennessee, Pilgrimage Music and Cultural Festival kicked off fall in Franklin with sunny afternoons punctuated by picturesque sunset performances. The event drew 17,000 attendees for 2 nearly 12-hour days of rollicking music, local arts and culture, and family-friendly fun. Pilgrimage was the first held in 2015 and has carved a niche as a laid-back event for music lovers who have retired from the camping festival circuit.
Entrepreneurs who are building companies across Tennessee, along with many of the investors who fund them, will be featured at Launch Tennessee's 3686 Festival, which kicks off Wednesday in Nashville. Programming will offer insight to the 750-plus members of the innovation community and investors representing a collective of $150 billion in assets under management in attendance. It has been more than 2 years since this energized group has come together in person, and we are excited to welcome newcomers to Tennessee during this momentous time for our state's innovation economy.
The people of Florida are bracing themselves for a direct hit from Hurricane Ian. Officials are warning the Category 2 storm could be, quote, something that we haven't seen in our lifetime, end quote. It's been a century since the Tampa area of South Florida has been directly hit by a hurricane, and now Hurricane Ian could change history. Nearly 170,000 people have already been ordered to evacuate in the Tampa area alone, and schools and universities announcing closures in preparation for the storm and to set up as emergency shelters.
A Kentucky school shooter convicted a quarter century ago will stay in prison. Michael Carneal was 14 years old when he shot and killed 3 people and wounded 5 others during a high school prayer circle in Paducah. Carneal pleaded guilty and was sentenced to life in prison. However, Kentucky law requires minors be considered for parole after 25 years. On Monday, the full Kentucky parole board voted whether or not to grant him parole. The chairperson told Carneal via video conference that due to the seriousness of his crime, they decided he should serve out the remainder of his life sentence.
A Red Bank resident has raised an issue with a campaign flyer for 3 of the candidates running for the city's Board of Commissioners in November's upcoming election. According to the resident Davis Guerden, the flyer did not include a disclosure stating who paid for it, which he thinks violates state law. Davis said, quote, Tennessee Code annotated states that there should be a disclosure regarding who funds the production of electioneering materials such as this one. This flyer clearly advocates for the election of certain candidates, yet there is no disclosure as required by state law, end quote, referring to Tennessee Code 219-120.
Former Dalton police officer Trevin Dan Stover was sentenced last week according to a Georgia Bureau of Investigation spokesperson Nellie Miles. Quote, Stover was a Dalton Police Department officer who followed a woman in her car and ran her car tag. He looked her up on social media, got her number, and contacted her, end quote. Stover received 5 years probation, 40 hours of community service, and a $1,000 fine on top of court costs and surcharges. He also had to surrender his police officer standards and training certification and is not allowed to work in law enforcement for the duration of his probation.
Sprawling allegations of abuse against cheerleaders reached Tennessee on Monday in a case that escalates the accusations facing some of the sport's top institutions. An adult coach sexually assaulted teenage boys at Premier Athletics, according to allegations in a federal lawsuit filed in Memphis that is similar to a previous complaint against Rockstar Cheer in South Carolina. In both cases, attorneys say leaders at Varsity Spirit, which runs competitions, and the U.S. All-Star Federation, the country's cheerleading governing body, failed to provide a safe environment for the athletes. The lawsuit, brought anonymously by 2 teenage boys and one boy's mother, alleges that a Premier Athletics coach sent nude pictures and masturbation videos and instigated non-consensual sexual acts.
A sheriff's deputy returned to court Monday for a civil trial seeking monetary damages from the Georgia county that employs her after a federal judge ruled her bosses illegally denied the deputy health coverage for gender confirmation surgery. Sergeant Anna Lange wants a jury to award her damages for emotional distress, attorney fees, and repayment of more than $10,000 in out-of-pocket medical costs she incurred because Houston County excluded surgery for the transgender woman from its health insurance plan. U.S. District Court Judge Mark Treadwell ruled in June that the county's refusal to cover Lange's prescribed gender confirmation treatments amounted to illegal sex discrimination under the Civil Rights Act of 1964.
A dog discovers an abandoned baby, and a seal on the lamb turns itself into police. Coming up in today's Take a Look at This, a keen-eared dog led to a surreal rescue and an arrest, and it was all caught on camera. Jeremy Roth has today's Take a Look at This.
A startling situation that unfolded in a Texas family's backyard went from a case of a shirtless trespasser to the discovery of an abandoned infant.
He said, call 911, there's a baby.
It started when the McLeans woke to overnight security footage of a scantily clad stranger who allegedly stole their neighbor's truck. Then their dog, Archie, frantically called their attention to their yard shed, where they made an even stranger discovery, an abandoned infant inside.
The baby was laying right by the motorcycle right there.
The McLeans quickly swaddled the child and called police, who said the infant was not harmed and confirmed the suspect is now in custody in the county jail. Police in Massachusetts collared a critter on the lam after a seal on the loose in the town of Beverly literally turned itself in. Security footage captured the seal, who was spotted around town all week, waddling right up to the police station. A group of officers made the catch of the day and sent the seal off for observation before it's re-released into the wild. They even sealed the deal by changing their department seal to a seal. For real! Finally, what's the deal with this surreal firefighter reveal? Well, it's a cheeky peek at the annual steamy calendar from the hunky, husky heroes of the Eubank Volunteer Fire Department in Kentucky. The annual calendar is sold online to raise funds for the department and takes a filter-free approach to fashionable firefighting.
We've seen so many of the quote-unquote beefcake firefighters, and that's not what most of your volunteers look like.
For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Day, which creates an opportunity for neighbors to get to know each other better. This day acknowledges and celebrates the importance of a good neighbor. It is a blessing to have a good neighbor, but it is even a greater thing to be a good neighbor. Good neighbors often become friends. They watch out for each other, lend a helping hand, and are there for advice when asked. Neighbors offer that cup of sugar when we are short, collect our mail when we are on vacation, watch our homes, and sometimes watch our children and our pets. Simply put, being a good neighbor makes good neighbors and develops lifelong friendships. Use hashtag #GoodNeighborDay to post on social media. In the early 1970s, Becky Matson of Lakeside, Montana created National Good Neighbor Day. In 1978, United States President Jimmy Carter issued a proclamation to make it official. The date changed in 2003 from the fourth Sunday in September to an annual observance on September 28th.
We're on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube.
You'll also find more online at our website, bchs.tv.
Please remind your friends to like, subscribe, and share on our YouTube channel, BCHS Bear Network.
Tune in each weekday for our newscast. Just can't get enough Vox.
That is all we have for you today from Studio H12 in the Shroyer Broadcasting Center at Bradley Central High School.
From all of us with Vox News, thank you for watching.
We hope you have a splendid day.
And as always, God bless and go Bears.